One of the hardest lessons in wheel throwing isn't learning how to center clay. It isn't pulling even walls or creating perfect shapes. It's knowing when to stop. For many beginners, the temptation is almost impossible to resist. The bowl looks good, but maybe one more pull will make it even better. The rim is smooth, but perhaps one last adjustment will make it perfect. The walls are even, but another pass might make them thinner, so they keep touching the clay. And that's often the moment everything begins to go wrong. The walls become too thin, the rim loses its shape, the cylinder starts to wobble. A beautiful pot that was finished 2 minutes ago slowly collapsed because the potter couldn't leave it alone. Every experienced potter has done this so many times. In fact, most have ruined more pots by overworking them than underworking them. You must know that clay has limits. Every time your hand touches the spinning pot, the clay absorbs more water, experiences more pressure, and becomes slightly weaker. There comes a point where the clay has already given you everything it can. Asking for more doesn't improve the pot, it only increases the chances of losing it. Learning to recognize that moment is a skill that takes time. Professional potters often appear calm at the wheel because they aren't trying to make every possible adjustment. They know that perfection is not created by endless corrections, it is created by confident decisions. Sometimes the best movement is no movement at all. This takes trust, trust in your hands, trust in your technique, and trust that the pot doesn't need to be flawless to be beautiful. There is a saying among potters that every extra touch should have a purpose. If your hands are touching the clay simply because you are unsure, you are probably making the piece even more weaker instead of stronger. The wheel teaches restraint just as much as it teaches creation. Perhaps this lesson reaches beyond pottery. How often do we keep changing something that was already good enough? We rewrite, rearrange, overthink until we lose the simplicity that made it beautiful in the first place. Pottery quietly reminds us that more effort doesn't always produce a better result. Sometimes wisdom isn't knowing what else to do, it's knowing when you've already done enough. The art of throwing isn't only about shaping clay, it's about recognizing the moment when the clay says, I am finished, and having the confidence to believe it. Perhaps that's why this lesson stays with us long after we leave the pottery studio. Life, like clay, doesn't always become better the more we try to control it. Sometimes the greatest act of skill isn't adding one more touch. It's knowing when to let go, knowing when something is complete, knowing when good enough is truly enough. Because whether we are shaping a pot or our lives, wisdom often isn't found in doing more. It is found in knowing when to stop and when to let go.